Alright guys, welcome to the very first CAD video in our CADing a Rocket video series. This is going to be a pretty cool series that will not only show you how to design certain parts of a rocket using SolidWorks, but also understand some of the reasoning and considerations that go into each part. But that's way more in the future. Right now we've got to cover a few basics before we get there. So basically today, in this video, I'm going to be going over the very introductory parts of SolidWorks. So for those of you who have never seen SolidWorks or have just acquired it for the first time and have yet to kind of poke around, this is going to be a great video for you. So once you boot up the software, you may find yourself on a screen like this. Otherwise, there may be a kind of box that pops up here that has past parts or recent parts, and then it has 3 buttons for part, assembly, and drawing. So what you're going to want to do, especially for right now, just hit new, and this is kind of the box what it'll look like. You're going to hit part for now. This is going to be your majority of your time is spent in this parts window, because this is where you're actually going to be designing parts and extruding them and using your features and all your sketch tools. Alright guys, so once we get into here and the parts window opens up, don't freak out if your SolidWorks does not look exactly like mine. As you can see up here, I've kind of changed the toolbar and the taskbar to the dark theme using this in the settings here. Usually it is a light theme, and you can just change that. And I may have changed also some of the positioning of the toolbars and the tabs here, as well as some of the stuff on the side. All of these are just done for my own personal taste. Doesn't really mean anything. You can do it however you want, and you can even move these bars off and move them around if you want. Like, you can even stack them up on top of each other, or you can throw them down in the bottom, rearrange these, all that. You can knock yourself out, but I kind of just liked it where it was in the beginning up here. Now don't tell me. There we go. Yeah, and so if you move that and you want to put it back, just double click the command window and it'll snap back to its original spot. So that's pretty cool. So other than that, so in your taskbar up here, you have your features tab, your sketch tab, evaluate. This is going to be a lot more of your upper end analysis stuff. Same with pretty much everything down here. Simulation is going to be where you do your static study, FEA analysis. It's going to be where you do flow analysis, heat, temperature, stress, strain, all that kind of fun stuff. It's really cool, and we'll go over that in a future video. But for now, other than that, more tables, and this is more for when you're getting assemblies ready or you're getting parts ready to be manufactured. These are a lot of your datums that you're going to want to assign to your parts. So then when you export them in your drawings, they tag along essentially, and they make your life way easier down the road. Analysis preparation, this is for more fine-tuning your simulations. I honestly have yet to really mess around with this, but once I get more information on that, I'll let you guys know. But essentially, that's kind of your major parts of your taskbar, but the majority of your time is going to be spent in the features tab and the sketch tab, especially in your parts window, which is where you currently are. And okay, so then that's this top bar. Now for this bar on the side right here, this is your manager tree for your part essentially. So as you add parts and as you add drawings and you add features, it'll build a list down here. And here, let me see if I can demonstrate with something real quick. Alright guys, so once you have a part loaded up, so once you have a part loaded up, you can actually see that over here on the left hand side that there's actually more parts, or more steps, as you can say, or more branches, I guess, in the tree. And you can actually expand these and retract them, and you can actually view this underlying sketch for the part. And the part that I chose, that I just grabbed right here, is a nose cone for the FTR project, and I'll actually be showing you guys how to kind of make this later. And yeah, in a later video I'll show you how to make it, and in an even later video I'll show you how to like texture it and paint it and all that. And you might not have the exact same results because I do have real view graphics enabled, which does make the parts look really nice even in the modeling window. But essentially what I wanted to talk about was this tree over here. You can scroll up and roll back features to kind of see what your part was before you did that step, essentially. So like when you start a build, it'll be plain, and then as you add sketches and parts, you can kind of roll back between the two. Come on. Yeah. And then you can go in there and edit sketches at any point, and you can modify each individual part without affecting later on. But that's if you design it correctly. And that's another thing. That's just parametric drawing. So from here, let's go back to that empty sketch. You don't need to be distracted by a beautiful nose cone like that, but essentially from here, this is where you're going to edit. And yeah, in this window, all your edits that you do will show up down here. These are your normal 3 isographic planes. You got your front, top, and right. And then you got your origin point that you can also use as a reference when drawing. Highly recommend that you use drawings out of the origin. It makes it much easier to import into assemblies later on, and it doesn't. It's less of a nightmare. Just trust me. And then in here too, you can edit the material. This is actually pretty cool. So you can go in here, edit material, and you can change the material of whatever you want. So if you want to make a bracket for a shelf and you have a sheet of aluminum lying around, you want to see how much weight it can hold, you just go to aluminum alloy, choose whatever you want, 66 T6. So now whatever you draw in this part has been assigned aluminum characteristics essentially, and the look and the color and all that. So that's pretty cool. You can also bring up, oh no, never mind, that's in the assemblies. Yeah, these are more kind of advanced features. We'll go over those later on. Like this is where you can apply decals and stickers. So yeah, I'll show you guys another example of that later on. But for now, main taskbar, main 2 windows that you're going to use is sketch and features, and this is your design tree where everything's going to pop up and you can use to draw off of and reference back to later on. Alright, next up is, I would probably say, options right here in the settings. So just go in here and go to options. This is where you're going to find most of your general settings for the SolidWorks software. A lot of this is you pretty much just mess around with them and see what you feel. Because open last document, you can choose to say always or never. And there's different things like on your drawings, you can edit the settings for them and tweak things to how you like. A lot of this is really over the head. I would say a lot of the important ones to know is when you go to documents, properties, you can go to units. So this is where you control your units for the drawing. You can always change them down in the bottom right hand corner, but otherwise unit system, this pretty much changes the units for the overlying system. So whenever you open a new document, it will open up to whatever you assign it here. Otherwise, you can always change your units down in the corner here. Now, if you want to change a dimension in the middle of making a part, you're going to have to exit the sketch, exit the part, go down here, change the unit, rebuild, and then go back into the part and make sure that it is correct. You can't just go down here and have it change automatically right away. I wish it did, but it doesn't work like that, unfortunately. Other than that, in document properties, yeah, tables, this stuff is later on. This is all for, yeah, that's not really important. I'd say units is your most thing that you're going to want to use right away at the beginning. So make sure that you're using whatever you want. And then in system options, there's also alright, so continuing on the settings track, if we go up here in the options, you can actually hit customize. So customize is actually going to be where you can enable and disable a lot of your essentially your tabs in your taskbar. And you can always rearrange things too. For example, here you can see how there's a few white text tabs, so that means these are enabled, and these are the tabs that I have visible to me at any given time. And then you see these bunch of red tabs, those are the ones that are hidden for me right now because I don't, these are essentially off by default, and you can choose to enable them if you need them. Otherwise you can just hit the go up here and find the tool directly itself. But essentially here's where you can check and uncheck toolbars. And then you can check size like I did before using that button size. And then there's always a reset to default button down here, so in case if you change something and you don't want that. Shortcut bars, this is where depending on if you're in a sketch plane or a feature plane, or a sketch, an open sketch, or or if you're getting ready to do a feature. If you press S, a certain drop-down menu will appear. So if you're in an assembly or a feature, you're ready you're essentially out of an open sketch and you're ready to assign a feature to something. You can press S, and then this drop-down menu will appear. It's essentially a shortcut. And what you can do is with these shortcuts is you can add and take off things from this. So essentially, if I wanted to do if I wanted to have a shortcut for a new study, I can drag it from this menu and drop it into here, and boom, now I can, whenever I press S in an open sketch, or no, in an unopened sketch, I can instantly run a new study on that part. So that's pretty cool. Other than that, so then you got your flyout toolbars, and then these are all your different types of toolbars you can have. So sketch toolbars is specifically for the sketch tools that you see up here, and you can drag and drop those into there. For now, I'm just going to go flyout, and then so this is the part one, and then this is the open. Wait, where's the open? Oh, here's the open sketch toolbar. So, well, it should make sense. It has this sketch tool right there, sketch symbol. But essentially here, this is where this is one's going to be really useful to you as you're building parts in your sketch tab or in an open sketch. Just press S, and then this menu will pop up. So instead of having to go from your part down here all the way up here to select the tool and then back down, you can just press S, quickly move over to your menu, click whatever sketch tool you want, and then go back. And I've actually added a few things to this myself. So I've added, I know I've added the extrude boss and the extrude cut. I threw them into this menu, so then as soon as I'm done with the sketch, I can just hit S, extrude, or extrude boss, or extrude cut it, and I can go straight from an open sketch to directly what I want, instead of having to exit the sketch and then go into the extrude, or the extrude boss or base or cut. And then these are your drawing shortcuts, and these are your assembly shortcuts, and your part shortcuts. And you can feel free to check around here and mess around with this, but the defaults are pretty nice. They seem to got a lot of good things you're going to want, so that's good. Other than that, this is for your command toolbar, your buttons, menus. These guys up here are what's in it, where if you can rename it, remove, reset, add things. This is your keyboard shortcut list. So you can assign your own shortcuts essentially, but you're going to have to check to see if buttons have been taken, because a lot of buttons have been taken. So just be wary of that. A lot of the times I'll just take off a lot of the really useful ones like S, W, E, Q. I'll assign to things that I use a lot. So you can even assign sketch Q or a letter right there, and then instead of going to that shortcut menu and then hitting sketch, you can just hit a button and go straight to it. So it's kind of cool. Makes things go a lot faster. Most mouse gestures, these are like you have to hold, it's like right button, middle button, and then you swipe to the side and then things pop up. But you would need a part. So let's go over here. So you right click, you hold right mouse, and then you swipe to a side, and then that changes your face instantly. It's pretty cool. Other than that, we got what else do we got? Yeah, so you can set mouse gestures depending on what you do and which direction you point with this. Yeah, you do 12 gestures. It's ridiculous. And then, yeah, customize all here. So that's kind of your main toolbars and taskbars and design windows and all that. Don't feel too overwhelmed. There's a lot in here, but you'll kind of get introduced to everything as you use it. It's not really important to have a good overall understanding of everything right away. Just understand that your features, your sketch, and this is your design window that you're going to base your sketches off. So I guess that'll kind of conclude this first video. It was really just not really quick, but it was just an introduction into the kind of basic sketch window without even, or a part window without even getting started. So it's kind of cool. But we'll get into the actual using the sketching and the features as in actual context of rocket parts. Like, well, I'll show you how to use a revolve boss base. So for the nose cone, so I'll show you how to make this nose cone, and I'll show you how to use the revolve boss base. This revolve feature, and I'll show you how to use the extrude feature, and I'll use how to use some sketch tools and stuff to make this. And this one's actually going to be cool because it's an equation-driven spline, so we're going to show how to use math to make that line for us, which is cool. Oops, did not want to do that. Whatever. But, yeah, that's the first video. See you guys.